Are you ready?
Oh, yeah! It's still real to me, damn it! Barack Lesnar! Woo!
I knew you'd come. Awesome!
It's time to rumble. It's time for the Royal Rumble. How was that?
I mean, it wasn't bad.
My Vince McMahon has actually gotten a lot better over the years, I'll tell you that. Because let me tell you, if you guys ever want to do a Vince McMahon impression, look up the very first game of the XFL, and that's how you get your Vince McMahon impression, because all you got to do is go, "This is the XFL." And you got your Vince McMahon impression.
Terrible.
That's all you got to do. Just watch that video a little bit, just constantly over and over and over, and you'll get your Vince McMahon. Welcome to the Sunday Night Slam, and I guess in the afternoon on Sunday, because damn it, the pre-shows for the Big Four start before I'm awake.
No joke. Like, this is getting ridiculously early.
I feel bad for everyone who's in Arizona. Like, the doors open at 2 Arizona time, which is 3 o'clock our time, which means that tells me that the first couple of matches that they do on the pre-show, at least one of them, is going to be like WrestleMania that one year.
Where it's all completely daylight.
Where
It's like, really strange.
No, there's a dome, there's a roof over it, but it's going to be that moment where there's like 57 people in the crowd, and it's going to suck.
I mean, they might get there super early this time.
All right, my name is Richard. Joining me, as always, is my partner in life and on this show, Ashley.
Hi.
Guys, it is Royal Rumble Sunday. We hope you're having a great weekend. We hope you're enjoying all the wrestling that's happened. My God, TakeOver.
No joke.
I mean, we're going to start there because we're going to make this show kind of quick so you guys can enjoy the Rumble and not have to listen to us ramble on for 2.5 hours.
Good call. Good call.
There's not a lot of news. Let's go through that real quick. Abyss and Sanjay Dutt leave Impact and join WWE.
Which I'm actually really excited
Hell
for.
has frozen over. Abyss is one of those guys I never thought would leave.
I know. We had a discussion before.
Funny story. Everybody who's entered the the TNA Hall of Fame has ended up leaving.
Really?
Yeah.
All of them?
I think it's all of them. I think
That is so
I
sad.
think everybody who's ended up in the TNA Hall of Fame, which they only do one induction every year around Bound for Glory, but I think everybody who's been in the Impact Hall of Fame has left. Has left the company. Here we go. Here's everybody. All right, you ready?
Okay.
The Dudleys.
Left and went back to WWE.
Yeah, in the year they got inducted too, by the way.
Oh.
Sting.
Eventually left and went to WWE.
Kurt Angle.
Left and went to WWE.
Jeff Jarrett.
Left and went back to WWE.
Earl Hebner just left. Gail Kim retired. I think she's still hanging around. So
That's not as bad.
And Abyss.
Left and went to WWE.
So Gail Kim is the exception to this rule, but it's only because I think, I don't think she's ever going to go back to the company. So, but yeah, everybody who's went in the Impact Hall of Fame, but Gail Kim has left the company.
Well, I mean, sometimes you pick bad people.
So Abyss and Sanjay Dutt are going to be working at the Performance Center, and I'm kind of excited about that. Like, those guys, Sanjay Dutt is a hell of a wrestling mind. Like, he was on the booking committee during some of the best times of Impact, so I'm pretty happy with that. And Jeremy Borash is now at the Performance Center, which tells me a lot of why Impact or NXT is really fucking good right now.
Yeah.
Abyss is going to be great for the big guys because that dude can move around.
No joke.
Now, granted, here's the thing about Abyss, and I love Abyss, and I always have. I've been a huge Abyss fan. He was supposed to be the Undertaker's opponent at WrestleMania 19. That's not, like, I think Abyss tells that in his documentary. I think it's even in the Undertaker, like somewhere about the Undertaker, where they're talking WrestleMania matches. But even though Abyss may have been a Mankind knockoff, which you've seen the mask.
Yeah. This is true.
Abyss was able to hold his own. There we go. Move the screen so I
He
can
was.
actually see
Oh,
you.
hey, there you have a face.
I do have a face. It's a very scruffy face right now, but I look like a hobo. I look like what probably every entrant in the Royal Rumble will look like by the time we get to number 30 tonight. Like Jesus. Or every fan in the crowd in Phoenix, because yeah.
They're
But
gonna be there all day long.
that's about the biggest news of the week.
I'm really excited for Abyss, and I really hope to see him tonight in the Rumble.
He would be the surprise.
I know that he was hired on to be in the Performance Center, but he's never got his big
WWE moment.
WWE moment. This would be awesome.
He's the one guy I think deserves it. Plus, I think if they're going to do it, tonight's the night. It is kind of funny that he was supposed to debut at a baseball stadium at WrestleMania 19, and tonight they're at a baseball stadium for the Royal Rumble. So
In
there's
2019.
there's that.
Oh, no. It would be really nice to see him in the Rumble. I would like to see him, honestly, in a couple of random matches. Like, I know he's here to go to the Performance Center to train people, but he's got some go left in him.
Is he one of those
Let him
guys?
have a little bit of time.
Is he one of those guys you're just going to see like in an open challenge on NXT television?
Which would be pretty epic.
Like somebody comes out, like Cassius Ohno comes out and goes, "I'm tired of losing," and calls out somebody, and it's Abyss. Like, oh my god!
It's like, and now you're gonna die. So,
speaking of, other news. AEW is doing a get together on February 7th to announce their ticket sales at the MGM Grand at some ballroom there. You know what? I'm excited for Double or Nothing because I'm pretty sure this is the day they're going to announce Kenny Omega signed with them.
assuming, yes.
Yes, assuming that Kenny Omega just doesn't show up at the Rumble. I am staying away from Twitter today to stay away from like who's possibly in Phoenix because I hate that shit.
There's a huge chance of who's possibly in Phoenix, but WWE also flies out every single person they possibly can.
$20 says I end up with Tatanka in the Royal Rumble at this point. Like, just you never know because they're going to throw out a legend. There's 11 open spots in the men's Rumble.
There's going
shit.
to be 2 to 3 legends in this. I feel like that's the appropriate.
I think there's going to be 3 to 5 NXTers in this,
which would be amazing.
and that's counting NXT UK.
I hope we get a couple of those guys, and I desperately want to see Velveteen Dream in this Rumble.
And last night, okay, so let's cover TakeOver before we get to the Royal Rumble. Last night, NXT TakeOver Phoenix. I'm going to say this. I was on the fence about this show going into it, mostly because I thought each match, like I said what match I was looking forward to, and that was the match of the night. But I know on paper, there's some takeovers that don't look as great on paper as the last one, because the last one, War Games, was so good. It
was so good. This one looked good, but was it going to be that good?
And then last night they just blew everything away.
Yes, it was that good. But that start of that first entrance,
the War Raiders coming out, having the Viking entrance, and Ashley just looks over at me and goes, "Well, they're winning," and I. Which I didn't think you could actually have a better match than the match that War Raiders and Undisputed had last night. I thought that was probably the best tag match I've seen on WWE television since maybe the 2 out of 3 Falls tag match.
Yeah,
notwithstanding War Games, because I don't know if that counts. But since
War Games does not count, it's a separate entity. It is not a tag match.
But since the 2 out of 3 Falls between the Revival and DIY. And I understand the Revival's complaint now, more so because the tag teams can go out there and have a good match, and they prove it all the time on NXT TV.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, they blew everyone out of the water. I think that's the first tag match I've ever heard Fight Forever in.
Yeah. I can't think of another.
I can't remember if it was chanted during the 2 out of 3 Falls match, which I assume it probably was, but that's the first time I remember it. So good job for War Raiders and Undisputed Era last night, because they tore down the damn house.
Side note, Hanson can do a freaking cartwheel.
Yeah, this is kind of your first introduction to War Raiders, other than War Games.
I haven't seen much from them because I haven't been watching.
Well, you've watched some of them in New Japan.
I did.
And we saw Hanson fly then,
better.
but I don't know what it is. There's some guys that'll come from New Japan and go to WWE, and they're not like as good. But then there are some guys that'll come over from that system to WWE and just knock it out of the damn park. And War Raiders is one of them. Plus, they don't have a typical look.
They do not, and I enjoy it. Like, they have their thing, and they stick to it.
Good job, Sarah Logan, by the way.
Yes. Congratulations.
Hanson and Rowe take the NXT Tag Team Championships. Mauro Ranallo is on fire already at the beginning of the night.
How can you not be with that kind of a match?
Oh, my God.
When you have a great opener, it sets the tone for the rest of the night.
Yeah, no, it does.
For the performers, for the fans, for the announce team. Like, it... At that point, like, I feel like before they even all got into the ring, you're like, oh, this is a thing.
So I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Okay.
So next up, we get Cassius Ohno decked out in Phoenix Suns colors, which was awesome, against who I believe may be a WWE champion within the next 5 years, Matt Riddle. That's my big bold, like, I don't know what it is, but
3
my
years.
God. Well, I'm going to go 5 because I don't know how long he's going to stay in NXT. That's my only thing.
Not long.
He's going to be NXT champion if they keep him for a while, though.
I don't even think they have to keep him for a while. I think they have to keep him till October, maybe, and he can be champ.
Oh, I figure he wins it at the June TakeOver show, wherever that is at this point. The one that's before, I don't know what that show is. You get it.
Yeah, with SummerSlam, maybe, was where I was thinking.
Yeah, or that TakeOver Toronto too. But yeah, that's where I'm at because Matt Riddle last night came across as the biggest star on the show, and that says a lot. Like, I don't know what it was. He comes out, the crowd's going nuts. He has this awesome entrance. I just want to see more Matt Riddle. I hope Matt Riddle's in the Rumble. There is part
Honestly,
of me.
he might be.
There is part of me that thinks they might bring him up and have him in the final 5. Like, that's how much I enjoy Matt Riddle. Their match last night was just hard hitting.
But it was good.
It was good, and an ending I never expected to see in my life, and that is just the pound to submission ending.
Which isn't something that you see.
Not in wrestling, and that's and that was something that was being talked about on
Look
Twitter.
at where it came from.
Yeah, that's something that was being talked about on Twitter. That people were just like, "That's not a submission you expect." So
it's
that
not
makes
a wrestling submission. That's a fight submission.
that makes Matt Riddle more dangerous. As if you look at that from a point of view going forward, that means he can tap you out by just hitting you. That has to make him more dangerous.
Well, he doesn't. I think that the way that he is coming across in his matches is making him a more formidable opponent because, yeah, you know, he has the UFC background, but he doesn't look that scary. And then
he's not Brock Lesnar scary.
And then he deadlifts somebody that's 110 pounds bigger than him.
Okay, he's not
and then
Brock.
He beats the crap out of him.
Right, he's not Brock Lesnar scary.
No,
He's not Ronda Rousey scary. He's not Shayna Baszler scary. But the dude might have more talent.
Likeable.
But the dude might have so much more talent than any of the others, which I'm not saying anything against them in MMA because I don't know Matt Riddle's MMA career. I didn't even know he was. I knew he was in the UFC, and I didn't know how long he was in the UFC until last night.
Yeah.
When they were like, hey, I fought in the UFC for 6 years. And just going, really? That's how long you were there?
But you've got a better personality coming out of the women now. You don't have a great personality ever coming out of Brock. That's its thing. But
Brock has Heyman. That's all that's
he's
needed.
such a likable person, and he's cool, and like doesn't seem like the person that would beat you to death. But apparently,
he does.
As we've seen firsthand now. That's a thing.
Yeah. I'm looking to see if he was also part of Bellator as well for a little bit. Yeah, 2008 to 2013. Matt Riddle was on The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, Lord.
That's something. And I don't know if you can go back and find those episodes.
Probably not.
I think you can if you look on the UFC. The UFC has their own fight network, kind of like the WWE network, but it's not as good.
I don't know that anybody else is going to be able to get as good as the network because they have such extra programming.
Right.
And they have such a huge library of old stuff that nobody else has that much stuff. But are you trying to see how well he did?
No, I just read a thing on Dana White goes completely crazy and says that Matt Riddle's a weak-minded dummy that only made $162,000 a year.
Only.
A weak-minded dummy That's coming from Dana White. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Does this matter?
No, it doesn't mean two shits. Okay, so let's move on. Match of the night for me is Gargano and Ricochet, though. My God, there's the storytelling from those two guys. Can I just see more of those two?
Can we just see more entrances like Ricochet's entrance?
My God. Okay,
like,
so
like
they
his
released
normal entrance. It's not a specialty entrance. That's his daily thing.
This is not Aleister Black, who has like his own entrance on TV or his own entrance on like house shows. No. Let me just point this out. So if you guys have WWE 2K19 and you've downloaded the new Stars pack and you played as Ricochet, that is the coolest entrance in the video game. I'm sorry. I love Finn's Demon entrance and I love Undertaker, but god dang, that Ricochet entrance with the light is amazing. I don't want Ricochet in the Rumble. I don't want that to be his debut spot. I just don't. But part of me is like, Ricochet might be in the Rumble.
I don't know.
He lost the championship.
But it's an awkward place to put him in the Rumble because I think that we deserve to see him full on come out and
I don't want him to pull a Mil Mascaris in 1997 where he just automatically dives over the top rope and eliminates himself.
Exactly.
And that could happen.
His style is not terribly conducive to a
Battle Royal
style match. Not saying that he couldn't do it, but I'd prefer his first match to be this big phenomenal thing where you get to see him.
Is there not any
and do his thing?
Is there not part of you that kind of wants to see Andrade and Ricochet in a WWE ring?
I desperately want to see that. There's no kind of to it.
Or Ricochet and Seth Rollins. Oh my God.
Ricochet has to be on his way to the main roster soon, right?
Nope.
No?
I don't see that one happening for a while. And part of it's because he might be a big enough name that NXT, like Triple H will be like, I'm going to hold him here.
They want to keep him to help elevate NXT.
Yeah. Well, see,
you could drop him on the main roster right now and he'd be fine, though.
Yeah, because he's got so much talent. No one... Okay, so I remember showing you the Ricochet Will Ospreay match where they're doing the superhero moves and stuff, and we just kind of looked at each other because that match tore the internet apart.
Yeah.
Going, oh, it's nothing more than acrobatics. I'm like, no, this is the future, and I'm cool with that. Because if our future of wrestling is going to be that athletic, I'm sorry, but just dudes throwing punches and kicks and body slams kind of looks shitty in comparison to that.
It does. This... You see a much more athletic style across
I've been
the board,
watching
but
old
that
Royal.
is like the top tier.
So speaking of that, I've been watching old Royal Rumbles, and all I see is the just fist, like the forearms to the back, just constantly, or just punches and kicks and a few chokeholds here and there. And then watching like the last 10 years of Rumbles, which is, some of them are hard to watch, yes, because of how they went down. But at least the moves are not just punch, kick, punch, kick, kick, punch, choke, kick, punch, kick, punch, choke, punch. Like, I mean, at least it's not that.
Yeah. And not all old wrestling is that. But
the Rumbles are.
The Rumbles were bad.
But they're fun. Like, it also depends on the crowd. Like, if the crowd's into a Rumble, you're into a Rumble watching at home. Learn that through the 1990 Rumble, which we'll discuss on YWW this week.
Significantly better than expected.
Yeah. So Ricochet and Johnny Gargano tear down the house. That spot on the floor where Gargano suplexes Ricochet and hits the concrete and they make that splat. I cringed. Johnny Gargano hits the DDT and hits the pin while saying, I win, which that was great. And we have a new NXT.
He did win.
We have a new NXT North American champion, and I'm excited. I know that I didn't want to see Ricochet to lose, but I also wanted Johnny Gargano to get gold. And that moment at the end was completely worth it.
It's his first singles title in NXT.
It is. Let's talk about... Okay, so I always hated Sam Roberts. I think Sam Roberts is a piece of shit.
Okay.
There's a reason I bring this up. And last night on the NXT pre-show... Now, I said that I'm not sure how I feel about Bianca Belair because I don't know where... Like, I haven't watched NXT TV recently for me to make that decision. So I don't know if she's on fire or not. She deserved that spot at TakeOver. Let's just...
She did.
She won me over 100%. Like, I need to start watching NXT TV again. Like, that's just... and it's only because I keep forgetting. Here's my problem. What Sam Roberts said last night was shitty.
What did he say?
Sam Roberts on the pre-show says that Bianca Belair does not deserve to be in a TakeOver match because she does not rank up there with the previous women who were champions. and he says it while stuttering. Like it is the most cringeworthy video you will ever watch in wrestling. This dude, and I told everybody like years ago, like when they started bringing him on, he's a piece of shit. And I don't know if it was a work or not, but if it wasn't, yeah, dude needs to be fired. If it was a work, dude still needs to be fired because he's stupid. But that's a whole other argument.
No, she has been on fire through NXT recently, and she had an undefeated streak until last night. And she has come so far from what we originally saw her.
No, I remember the first time seeing her in the Mae Young Classic and going, okay, who's this? And I thought it was weird that she was in the video game. Because you don't see people who aren't, like, they don't usually put people in the game who aren't featured on TV more prominently. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, she definitely showed up last night, and that hair whip that opened up.
Oh God,
Shayna Baszler, unbelievable.
The ability to make your hair actually sound like a whip.
I think it's a whip. I think it's a legit whip. Like I think it's just a whip attachment, like just to her head, and she just because that was sick.
That was
sick and twisted. A great match from the women last night too, because this was the match I was least looking forward to, only because I didn't know much about Bianca, and I'm not the biggest Shayna Baszler fan, even though she scares the crap out of me.
And you would never actually tell her
I
that.
wouldn't tell her that. But last night she proved how good she's getting.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be hard to get the championship off of her. It's the same principle as Asuka, where you've got to do something to get the championship off of her eventually. I think it's going to be Io Shirai, but I could be wrong.
It could just be some absolutely random thing where some huge accident takes place and she ends up
loses it
knocked
to like
out.
Chelsea Green, and then we're all like, "What happened?" Yeah.
She ended up falling out of the ring and hit her head on something, and now she's knocked out. And then you roll her back in and you pin her and you've won.
Yes,
congratulations.
So that might be a thing. The women's match last night, though,
it was
solid. Not the best NXT women's match. Definitely not the worst NXT women's match on a TakeOver.
No, but we're trying to get accustomed to this new group of women because we keep seeing these big names and then they take them away.
My only issue with NXT women's division is like we get used to like seeing like all these women and they're all great, and then the next thing you know they're all gone. Like just
because every NXT women's call up has been like 6 people deep.
Yeah, no, like I remember the Ruby Riott call up. It was Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville all at once, and you're like, well, that's half the damn roster. Shit.
That's all of the people we actually knew. What now?
And then next was Ember Moon, and you're like, crap.
Then the Iconics are gone. And
the Iconics are gone, and I love the Iconics.
I know you do.
I love the Iconics. Okay, so, and then the main event, Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black. It was a great match. It was slow. It was a little bit slower paced. It's exactly what you want from like it's a great heel face dynamic. Tommaso gets the win because he worked on the leg, and like it was really good wrestling psychology, which you don't see now. It was a great match. It wasn't as good as Gargano Ricochet though. By God, that might be the first 5+ star match for WWE ever.
It might.
Oh, this show. I said it last week where I thought New Japan show was terrible. This show was better than Wrestle Kingdom. Don't at me. I
could see at least 2 5-star matches coming from this.
Yeah?
Tag match.
Yeah. I agree with you. Completely agree with you. Okay, so
tag match was amazing.
It's time to talk about the Royal Rumble. Because we're not going to bombard you with like 7 hours of analysis, because fuck that.
What about this? What about this? This could happen. These people are there. This is their odds. Woo.
I've stayed away from betting odds on this show.
Which is impressive for you.
Because usually that just gets thrown in my face on Twitter. Every match is a championship match except the Rumbles. I feel like we're going in such a direction in this company. This happened at Wrestle Kingdom. I love championship matches, but I don't feel like every match on a show should be a championship match.
I will complain about this. I feel like it's appropriate here because this is the Royal Rumble.
It's the only show that's acceptable.
And so,
which they probably wouldn't have done all championship matches had there not be 2 Rumbles.
Yeah, like there's 2 Rumbles now. Half of your show is Rumble. Because there's 2 of them. Literally half of the time spent on this show is going to be with these 2 Rumble matches.
There are 5 matches outside the 2 Rumbles.
You don't have time to do anything but your big matches. Like,
Right.
that's all you've got time for. It shouldn't be just championship matches on every pay-per-view, though.
No, and it's kind of seeming like it's that way. New Japan just did that with the exception of 1 match, and I don't know. I like title matches. I think it's appropriate, but they also kind of bore me when you just see them constantly on every show. But this show is stacked. Let's go with the pre-show matches. It is the fatal 4-way for the Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy defends against Akira Tozawa, Hideo Itami, and Kalisto. Who you got? That's a weird lineup of guys. It's a little weird not seeing Cedric Alexander in a Cruiserweight title match. Somehow, especially with this many people.
It is kind of strange.
The new guy in NXT and Umberto, or in 205, Umberto something. I can't think of his I can't pronounce his last name very well. That dude's gonna be a star. Holy crap! All right, just saying that.
Gonna go with Murphy here.
Yeah, it's my pick too. I don't see him losing this. I don't see him losing the Cruiserweight Championship until WrestleMania. So hopefully they actually get on the WrestleMania card.
That would be lovely.
I don't mind them being on the pre-show here because it's such a big show. I think every match kind of outshines theirs but one. And it's the U.S. title match, which I'm like, Styles and Bryan outshines them. Asuka and Becky Lynch outshines them. Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks outshines them. The Bar versus The Miz and Shane McMahon is setting up something. I just don't know what the hell it is, and I'm excited for that. And then Brock and Finn outshines them. So yeah, no, this is kind of one of those situations where you're the low man on the totem pole.
I don't want to see the cruiserweights always on the pre-show, but here it's appropriate.
Next up, the United States title. Rusev defends against Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay, so here's the thing. These two are in the pre-show. Does that mean they're both going to be in the Rumble?
One of them will be.
Because I could see them both being in the Rumble because it's on the pre-show.
I think only one of them will be.
And I'm cool with that idea. In one thing, that means we know there's 11 spots open. We'll get to the men's Rumble in a minute. But all right, who's your pick? Rusev or Nakamura for the United? Rusev is the U.S. champion. So
yes.
Who's your pick?
Rusev.
That is mine as well. I love Nakamura, but I don't know. He kind of seems one of those guys to me that's going to end up jumping to AEW.
Well, they have not used him terribly well since he made it to the main roster. Let's be real here. Like, he did great in NXT.
He did. He was a main focal point in NXT. He was a main focal point on the main roster for a while. And then he
kept losing and cheating and...
I didn't mind Dick Puncher.
I kind of minded Dick Puncher.
I didn't mind Dick Puncher. Next up, the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It's The Bar versus The Miz and Shane McMahon, which is just the weirdest tag team ever and makes me a little sad that these guys are not going to be in the Rumble. As of right now, we have to look at everybody that's on this card is not in the Rumble.
At least 3 people on this card are going to be in the Rumble.
Oh, no, yeah, no. It's this match. Like, if there's anybody who goes in the Rumble, it's because of everyone in this match. Like, I could see The Bar, Miz, and Shane, or at least 3 of the 4, go in the Rumble.
But between the pre-show and the main show, at least 3 more of these people are going to end up in the Rumble.
The Miz is going to end up in the Rumble. If they don't win the tag championships, which I'm predicting. So
You think they win?
I think they win. This is a weird story to me. So the Miz has been like pestering Shane McMahon because he is the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because he won that tournament at WWE. We're not talking about the name of this show because we have political movements. Okay. Like, I was going to put worst moment in the nutsies for wrestling and realize that I shouldn't because the guys over at WrestleCrap.com did their worst of the year and Crown Jewel won by a mile because of the whole political landscape of all the crap that went on with that show.
It's impossible to look at that show as just a show.
Yeah, no,
and that is the problem. Like, looking at it as just a show, it's mediocre. It's fine. But there's a lot more involved, and we're not going to discuss that here.
So that's why I didn't do worst. But I'm picking The Miz and Shane McMahon. This is setting up something. I just don't know what it is.
I'm also going Miz and Shane McMahon. Mostly because I think it's time for the Bar to lose again.
They just get the tag championships, and then they're just like, all right. Let's go Ronda Rousey and Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey, before she came into WWE, or right around the time she signed, one of her dream opponents is Sasha Banks.
Which is exciting.
This might be her dream opponent. This might be a really good match. I think Ronda's going to win. Because I don't think they're pulling the championship off her just yet. Because I think she loses at WrestleMania. But this is a match that's probably going to be right up there. Because Sasha will go crazy in this one. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one.
I expect this to be an absolutely phenomenal match. I really, really do. But I'm also going to have to pick Ronda. Because it's not time yet.
It's kind of weird. This show is very predictable up until like your 2 Royal Rumbles. With the exception of one other match, or 2 matches outside.
Okay.
Let's do the SmackDown Women's Championship. Asuka defends against the man, Becky Lynch. Now, here comes a weird scenario. We all figure that it is going to be Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and some sort of main event at WrestleMania. Yeah. That's kind of the rumor that's out there. That's kind of the big thing that's out there. And even if it's a triple threat with Charlotte, how does that match happen?
Ronda retains, Becky wins, and Charlotte wins the Rumble.
That's the easy answer. Like, I mean, I think that is the easy path. It is WWE. They kind of like to take hard. They kind of like to take hard paths. I, honest to God, see Ronda Rousey screwing Becky over. There is a storyline from 2004.
Okay.
Goldberg's in the Rumble. Or Goldberg's defending his title and gets screwed over by Brock. The next month at which they won't go this route, but then the next month at No Way Out, Goldberg screws over Lesnar, causing him to lose his championship to Eddie Guerrero.
Mm-hmm.
There's part of me that thinks we're seeing kind of a rehash of that. Where I can see Ronda costing Becky this match. Ronda and the 4 Horsewomen causing Becky to lose this match.
Okay.
Leading to Becky Lynch and just taking out somebody and entering the Rumble. Like, you want it to be R-Truth and you want her to win the men's Rumble, but we had this discussion.
100% for sure. If there was not a women's Rumble, she would make it into the men's.
So I think
I truly, truly believe that.
There'll be there's going to be someone that she's going to take out and take their spot, and she's going to win the Rumble. Like, that's kind of that's the 2 options on the table.
Which I would love to see her win the Rumble.
Her or Charlotte winning, I am completely fine with, because after their match at Evolution, any sort of combination of Charlotte and Becky Lynch we get in the ring, I am 100% fine with. I do think Asuka retains, because I think we're going to go the route that because Becky's my pick to win the Women's Rumble. So, I don't know who you're picking here.
I'm picking Becky Lynch.
You're going the other route.
I might pick her to win the Rumble too. I don't know yet.
That is something else too. I guess she could win the championship and be like, you know what? Now I'm going to go win the Royal Rumble and take on Ronnie, because she keeps calling Ronda Rousey Ronnie.
I mean, I think it's appropriate.
So I guess that's a third viable option. I want to see. I just want
Becky Lynch on top. I don't care how it happens. I don't care what has to go on.
Because Becky Lynch is probably the hottest thing in the company right now. Outside.
She should have been for maybe a very long time.
And then right behind her now, I think it's Andrade, because him and Mysterio tore down the house on SmackDown. All right. Next up, let's do the WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan defends against the phenomenal AJ Styles. Who you got and why? Bryan, by the way, is on this kick where he's telling people how to live their lives, and I'm enjoying heel Daniel Bryan because he went off on Chase Field for their Rumble Burger.
Okay.
Because it's made with meat. Daniel Bryan's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
He might be 100% vegan.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's been playing this up on SmackDown lately. It's a great heel character. I love it. He also is trying to get them to make the championship strap not be leather to play into this character. And I'm like, that's even better.
So he's a militant vegan now?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going Daniel Bryan.
This is one of those matches that I have a tough pick for, because part of me thinks if Daniel Bryan wins, Raw wins the Rumble. But if AJ Styles wins, we're getting a dream match at Mania. Like, I don't. This is tough because Daniel Bryan deserves to be in the main event for WrestleMania.
He does.
Because everything that happened to that poor guy, he deserves to be in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
But after the year AJ had, so does AJ. I kind of feel this sucks for both of them. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Daniel. I don't know why. Because I don't think they're going to pull mini championships.
I don't see. They're not going to do a full.
They're not going to do the New Japan thing where every title changes on the show?
No.
They could, but they won't.
So far, I'm only calling one title change.
Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar defends against Finn Balor. Yes, originally in this spot was supposed to be Braun Strowman, and Braun ends up injured. He still hasn't healed from his elbow surgery and gets replaced by, out of all people, Finn Balor, and nobody saw that coming. So who wins the WWE Universal Championship? Ashley?
Finn Balor.
I'm going with Finn, but I think it's going to be because we're going to see something happen. Like, someone's going to cost Brock the match.
There's outside interference. Don't know who, don't know why, don't really care. It's going to happen.
Is it Braun?
Maybe.
Is it Matt Riddle? Is it... By the way, that is someone that WWE is very high on, to a point where Matt Riddle said in interviews that he wants to have a match with Brock. That's a match.
That would be insane.
Yeah, no, it would be. There's so many people. Like, I want to see Drew McIntyre and Brock. Because if Brock wins, I think Drew wins the Rumble. Like, it really depends on who wins this match for me, on who wins the Rumble. But I'm picking Finn. I don't know why, but I think Finn's going to walk out of the Rumble with the Universal Championship, and this might be the last match on the show.
He deserves it.
Which is really weird to see a title match go on at the end of a show instead of the Royal Rumble.
They do that occasionally, though.
It's very rare. They haven't done it in recent years. The last time they did it was 2013 when The Rock beat CM Punk for the championship. I, honest to God, could see this, if Finn wins, being the last match on the show.
Yes.
However, I could see this also going before the Rumble, and then the Rumble happening, and then you get your main event for Mania set up. So, but we're in agreement. It's Finn.
Yes, it's Finn.
Wow, we did not disagree at all, with the exception of one match. So it really is going to come down to the Rumble for the fanny pack.
It was always going to come down to the Rumble.
I'm going to post pictures of this on our Instagram at TBK Mag and on our Twitter at TBK Magazine. Yes, we are playing for the WWE Heavyweight Championship fanny pack. That's our title.
It is indeed.
The fanny pack will be mine. I'm holding it, but
because I handed it to you.
Yeah, well. All right, so you want to start men's or women's? Let's do women's first, because I think the men's is the bigger Rumble this year.
I'll give you that.
We have 7 non-announced superstars. Okay, so we are at 23 have been announced for the women's Rumble. And do you want me to go through them?
You don't have to.
Well, you know what? No, I'm going to, because they've announced a lot of them on Twitter, and people got pissed. I don't have a problem with this. Huh?
Why did they get mad?
Because they should have been announced on TV or not announced at all. Here's the thing. We always at least know half of the field going into a Rumble, yes?
Yeah.
I don't care if there is, like, you have to have spots that are open.
No, like, you can't announce the entire set.
This isn't 1991. You can't do that. Because 91, you're not going to have a surprise in the Rumble. That's not a thing then. It becomes a thing like the 2000s. Okay. So let's go through the women's. Carmella, of course, is number 30, won it in the Mixed Match Challenge. Mm-hmm. Do we expect R-Truth to try to come out at number 30 in the Women's Rumble? Because that's what I think.
Why?
Because he's R-Truth, and he's kind of got a screw loose at the point where he thinks he's in a different match all the time. That's my thought. I think he comes out as number 31 in the Women's Rumble.
I don't think he comes out as 30 in the Men's Rumble. Somebody's taken that from him.
Yeah, no, I think
don't know
too.
who. Somebody's taken it.
For the Women's Rumble, Carmella, Ember Moon, Natalya, Bailey, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, I said it wrong. Alicia Fox. Damn, you know him, Dar. Zelina Vega.
It's exciting.
Naomi, Mickie James, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Charlotte, Tamina, Dana Brooke, Lana, Nia Jax, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss returns from her injury. And Lacey Evans. So who is the first of all, do we go with who we think is going to win? Because I think it's going to be Becky.
I'm honestly also going to choose Becky.
We're just going Becky in this.
I'm going back. She needs to win things. She deserves to win things.
Okay, so we got that out of the way. So we both say Becky. Who do you think the final four are?
I'm going to go Becky, Charlotte, Nikki Cross, and one of the unknown 7.
Okay, so I think that's a safe bet. But you want to know what mine is? There's part of me that I think I know who it's going to be.
Okay.
If Becky's in the Rumble. By the way, if Becky's not in the Rumble, I'm picking Charlotte.
Doesn't matter. You picked Becky.
Well, yeah, no. But I think it's going to be Becky, Charlotte, Bailey, and Sasha.
Oh.
I think it's going to be that moment where the final four are the 4 horsewomen.
That would be even better.
Because I think the Ronda Rousey Sasha Banks match is early in the show, and because of this. Because I don't think they have enough women to be in the Rumble, but I think Sasha will end up in the Rumble.
Yeah.
So that means I guess I'm picking the 3 of them and one of the mysterious 7. So if I want to go that route, that's
are you calling 3 of them plus
the mysterious, like one of the 7?
Okay,
I think
so
it's going to be
Sasha,
Bailey,
one of the 7.
Yeah, it's going to be Bailey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and one of the mysteries. There is part of me that hopes one of the mystery women is Paige returning.
That would be epic.
Because she would win the Rumble.
Yeah.
Because she's not been seen on TV. She's still with the company. Her movie's getting ready to come out. Did she get cleared like Daniel Bryan?
And they just kept it quiet.
Yeah. Because I think there's going to be a lot of surprises this year. And I think there are going to be a lot of surprises that's going to leave us talking until Mania.
We need that.
And I think that's one of those moments that will be a surprise. I think we get a couple of NXT people show up in the Rumble, which to me will probably end up being either Shayna Baszler. I could see Bianca.
I was about to say, I think Bianca might have clinched her spot last night.
There's a couple others. Who else? Kairi Sane could end up in the Rumble. She was in last year's Rumble.
Yeah.
Io Shirai, Toni Storm. Toni Storm would probably be the perfect person.
I think she needs to be in the Rumble. I hope
she
she's
just
in the
won the
Rumble.
Mae Young Classic. Rhea Ripley might be in the Rumble. She's had a hell of a year. I think she should be. I mean, there's others. There'll probably be a legend or 2, which will probably be the Bellas. And then...
I assume that 2 of these 7 are the Bellas.
Yeah, so that means there's 5. If we throw Sasha in, that means there's 4. If we throw the 2 NXT girls in that we think... If it's Toni Storm and Bianca, that means there's 2. Right?
And I figure there'll be maybe one... Legend. I know they used a ton of them last year.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at because you can't go back and use those women again.
You could do 1 or 2 of them.
Well, they just used them at Evolution too.
Is there any legend that's still in ring shape that has not been used recently, that is not on bad terms with the company?
There's the big part of that that's on bad terms.
There's 3 questions here.
Okay, so here's one. I know Chelsea Green signed.
Oh.
Chelsea Green had that match at All In.
Mm-hmm.
This might be WWE way of going, hey, you know what? You're going to debut at the Rumble. Kind of poking the bear.
This is the time that they need to. AEW is about to have its first major announcement.
First major matches announcements, first major show, which I don't think they do more than 5 shows in this year.
They shouldn't.
Unless they get TV, and then that changes it all.
They should only do, I think, 3 pay-per-views in the year because they're starting so late in the year.
But I think they do one then. I think they do one Memorial Day. They'll do one around the 4th of July. They'll do one around Labor Day, and they'll do one around Christmas, Thanksgiving. So that's my 4. Okay, so Alexa Bliss coming back's a big part of this, but yeah, I think the 5th one might actually be Chelsea Green, just because of All In, which is a weird thing to predict.
I would love to see it.
It would be someone that no one would expect, but everyone would like. It's gonna be hardcore fans in Phoenix anyway. So I mean, that's what you're gonna try to appeal to anyway. It's gonna be a fun match, though. I love Rumbles. All right, men's Rumble.
Men's Rumble.
20 of the 30 entrants have been announced. And I think it's only 19 now because John Cena's out. So R-Truth, who won the Mixed Match Challenge, will enter at number 30 as if that actually happens. Drew McIntyre, your boys, the New Day.
All three of them?
All three of them. Seth Rollins, Jeff Hardy, Dean Ambrose, Lashley, Samoa Joe, Elias, Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Apollo Crews, Andrade, Mustafa Ali, Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil, and Randy Orton. That's a pretty damn good Rumble right now.
It is a good Rumble. I do sincerely hope to see Abyss in this Rumble.
There is so many unknowns in this because, I mean, you're probably going to at least get
1/3 of your people are unknown.
Yeah, you're going to at least get 2 legends. So that's that. You'll probably get 2 to 4 NXT guys.
And I am 100% sure R-Truth is not going to end up in this.
You get 2 to 4 NXT guys. I, honest to God, think Batista's the big name that's going to come back this year.
Not a bad thing.
And The Rock.
Oh.
I am pulling both.
Oh.
Because I think they're going to do something crazy.
Okay. What you got?
That's what I think. I think they're going to do...
I thought you had more of a
No, I think
something
they're going to
crazy.
do these 2 huge names.
So who are you thinking is going to be the NXT people? I'm just hoping for Velveteen Dream, honestly.
I think he's one of them. I think Velveteen Dream...
I'd love to see friggin' Hanson after last night.
Yeah, but it won't be more Raiders.
I know.
Velveteen Dream. I could honestly see Adam Cole in the Rumble because he didn't really do anything last night. Matt Riddle.
That would be awesome.
There's gonna Pete Dunne.
I'm hoping for 1 or 2 UK guys.
If it's 2 UK guys, it's Pete Dunne and Walter.
Oh.
Because I could see Walter making a huge impression in the Royal Rumble.
Ooh. I'll give you that. Although, like, the entire group of guys we saw for NXT UK was great.
Like, there's a lot going on.
Who do you have winning?
There's a rumor going around that NXT TakeOver was toned down last night, so it wouldn't take away from the main roster.
Then they failed.
That's what I said too.
Also, how much better could it have been?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I don't think we could have handled much more. Like, you had crawled into the floor twice in the last match.
Oh. Yeah, that last match was great. That one match with Gargano and Ricochet was just so good.
You jumped up several times during that match.
It was a good match.
So there is one thing we haven't touched on some of these unknowns.
Yeah.
There's still one really big possible rumor.
Kenny? Is that what we're going to discuss, Kenny, right?
Yep.
If it happens, and I'm just going to say this, if it happens, he has to debut at number 29 or number 30. Like, you cannot throw him in the AJ Styles. Like, here's number 3.
No. That's because everything after he debuts is unusable because the crowd is
going to lose their shit.
Gone. They are gone. They are done, and he has to win.
That means AJ Styles wins the match with Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
Okay, so let's put in perspective. If Kenny Omega somehow debuts, there has to be like a bunch of things fall into place. Oh, WWE made a fucking tease yesterday too. I don't know if you saw this on their Twitter account, but there have been some surprise entrants that have been elite. I get it. I know why you're saying this. I understand. Like it's to get that rumor mill and the speculations flying that he's going to show up. Good job.
I don't know. It makes more sense that he doesn't.
Oh, I figure he's going to be with his friends.
It makes more sense for him to go be with his friends. But what if?
If he shows up, that place goes nuts.
But what if?
He shows up at number 29 or 30. Hands down. Like, there's no way. Like, I mean, R-Truth could still be number 30, but he shows up at number 29.
Which means that nobody will remember number 30.
That's the point. That's why R-Truth would be number 30. That's something that has hit me where whoever this, like, one of the big surprises is going to be number 29. Without fail.
Because number 30 doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
And also number 30 in the past has been a letdown.
With the exception of The Undertaker when he won the Rumble, yeah, no. Or John Cena, yeah, it has been. Like, there's no one that's been injured. Okay, so Bray Wyatt's out. Could see him return. Matt Hardy's out. Could see him return. Which would be awesome.
Kevin Owens
and Sami Zayn, which I expect to show up at some point. I don't know if it'll be a Rumble spots.
They'll be...
Or if they're going to help Finn beat Brock, but they're somewhere there.
Yeah.
Is that it? Rowan? Rowan. It's going to be Rowan.
Meh.
Rowan.
That's not that exciting.
Rowan for WWE champion. What?
That's not that exciting. So
there's just not that many. Plus, there's not many free agents out there that you could bring in for a one-off or to build towards WrestleMania that's not Batista or The Rock.
Yep.
Is there anyone? Because I mean, we were at StarCast where everybody who's in the free agency pool was at. Is there anyone out there that is a big enough name that could come in and just win it all?
No.
With the exception of Kenny?
That has to be it. I mean, I would put most of the guys from AEW on that list, but they're off the market.
I'd put them in AJ Styles' spot. I think Kenny's the only one that could come in and win. I don't think Cody would have came in and win. I don't think Hangman could come in and win.
It just depends on how much they feel, how good they feel about.
Because I mean, if you give him like an offer he couldn't refuse, because New Japan, I feel New Japan would let him go to WWE before letting him go to an unknown company. Because, I mean, that could be why he's not getting the send-off. Like, there's a lot to that story that I still want to know, but...
More all right, will come out later.
Who's your pick to win? Did we... Oh, Jesus.
I don't even know.
I'm going to say Seth.
Okay.
Only because I got to pick someone who's announced. Like, you either take the field or you take someone who hasn't been announced yet. I don't know if there's anyone that's coming in that's not... big enough, like that's big enough to win outside Kenny, and I don't think Kenny's coming in, so I'm gonna take Seth
McIntyre.
I mean, that's the two solid picks. I think there's like 5 really solid picks out of this. I think a sleeper pick is Andrade.
I would be fine with that as well.
All right, so final 4. Let's do that pick.
Okay.
I'm going to go on the fact that I don't know who the 10 spots are. And if one of them is Batista, he's in the final 4.
Do you want to put Batista or unknown?
I'm going to go unknown. And that pains me because I don't think that's going to be the final 4, but I feel like it's a safe bet. All right.
Okay.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Drew.
Okay.
And Mustafa Ali.
Okay.
I think I know Mustafa Ali is going to be in the final 5. I will guarantee that. I think they're high on him. I think Mustafa Ali or Andrade is going to be in the final 4. But like if I were to take out my mystery pick, it's Andrade, Mustafa Ali, Seth Rollins, and McIntyre. That's my final 4 for the Rumble.
Okay.
Who do you have?
I've got Drew.
Okay.
I've got Andrade.
All right.
Are
you gonna go 2 mysteries? Are you gonna go R-Truth? Come on.
I'm gonna go 1 mystery.
Damn.
It really might be R-Truth though. There might only be 3 or 4 people in the ring when he makes it.
Undertaker's number 29. eliminates everybody. R-Truth comes in, eliminates the Undertaker. R-Truth goes to WrestleMania.
It's a shitty story. It's a really shitty story. I'm gonna go Seth. He did really, really well.
That's why I think if Finn wins the championship, it's Seth and Finn at Mania.
Which is gonna be phenomenal.
Because they had a great year last year and had matches that tore down the house, but they both deserve to be in that spot.
They do. Which would be nice to see people that deserve
what
to be
about
in
a
that
member of
spot.
the New Day? Is it possible they ever do this? Because I want them to pull the trigger on some single title runs for the New Day.
I would love to. I would love to let them have the tag title and a single title together. I would love to let them do the Freebird rule for the U.S. title.
Like, that would be fantastic. Like, Kofi Kingston defends the U.S. title, and then at the pay-per-view, it's Big E, and then at the house shows, it's Xavier, and it's like, who's defending it tonight? It's great. It's a great idea.
I don't know if they would ever let them do that. I don't know. But it would be amazing.
We have our picks. We also drew numbers to see who we would have. We're not going to run that down, but here's our fantasy game. If you guys want to join us, get all your friends together, whoever's going to be watching the show with you. Pick the numbers.
We used a random number generator this year.
You get 1 point for an elimination of a person who is not a former world champion. 2 points if they eliminate a former world champion, and the former world champions are NXT. The 2 WWE championships are... I feel at this point we have to count Impact, Ring of Honor.
Okay.
So Impact, Ring of Honor,
WCW, New
WCW.
Japan.
If you don't want to count those type of champions, just do all WWE. Speaking of which, I forgot of a company last week, and I got reamed for it. It just hit me. So when I was running down all these huge companies, I left one out, but I feel like it's not going to be around after season 4 anyway. Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
3 points for a Hall if your guy eliminates a Hall of Famer or guy or girl.
Side note, best point value you can possibly get in this game is Ric Flair.
6 points.
Because he is 2-time Hall of Famer.
5 points for the winner, if your number has the winner. 2 points for the Iron Man. 2 points for the most eliminations. 1 point for a debut, which I think that's how that's spelled, but it looks like debay.
That is 2 points for a debut.
Oh, 2 points for a debay. And 1 point for a surprise return. 1 point in the final 4. And if it's Kenny Omega, all the fucking points.
True. Very true. If you drew Kenny Omega's number, the rules are made up and the points don't matter, and you win life.
Anyway. We talked about doing a post. We may do a post show. Depends on how we feel after the Rumble, because there's just...
Depends on how good the Rumble was.
I feel like it's going to be a long show, though, so there's that.
And I have to get up for work in the morning, you guys, so...
It may or may not happen, but if it doesn't happen, we'll cover what happened at the Rumble and all the news next week on SNS. We hope that's going to wrap up to this show, because, we're about an hour long. That's probably...
That's appropriate for this.
The Rumble tickets. Somebody posted a video of the hologram tickets for the Rumble.
Oh.
And they actually count down. It goes 3, 2, 1.
Now, if you could make it do the burr sound, then I'll be impressed.
Those are really cool looking.
That is really cool, though.
Next week, we'll talk about everything that happened here. We'll look towards... We're going to do a fun segment next week. Wrestling and sports. Because next week is the Super Bowl, and SNS will be on Saturday.
This is very true.
I got some fun ideas. By the way, this week, all our podcasts return. Live returns with a Super Bowl special. We're going to talk nerd stuff and everything else on that episode. Cinecrap returns with a football-themed movie. I just don't know what movie yet. I want Little Giants. I want Little Giants. YWW this week, where we do Rumbles. I think is that it?
I think that's all we have planned. There's always more than we have planned.
So, and don't forget to check out the website for cool articles, list, and don't forget to vote in the Nutsy Awards. Guys, we will see you next week here on SNS or after the Rumble, depending. So, for Ashley.
Good night, everybody.
And remember, if you're going to turn heel on your friends, make sure they're as gullible as Sting.